Well, welcome to the Church Tech 101 podcast. I'm Tim Hartman, your host. This is Season 2, Episode 1. And the name of this episode is 6 Livestream Audio Mistakes That You're Making. Now, as I travel around the country and as I work with churches all over the USA, I run into some common things that just, I keep getting the same questions. Let's put it that way. And I keep running into the same problems. And so I thought, maybe this is a good podcast episode here. So, you know, as a broadcast engineer, which I was for many years at Dish Network's satellite uplink facility in Cheyenne, Wyoming, some of the things that happen in the broadcast world really rub off on you. Stuff that is just sort of a standard practice there. And I like to bring that into my live stream customers because I think it gets them and helps them get to another level to understand what do professional broadcasters do. So I think the first thing that I hear all the time, or that I see all the time, is that there's no confidence monitoring. And I can hear you guys out there right now like, well, Tim, what is confidence monitoring? Well, let me put it this way. I have a lot of feedback from churches where like one person will call them and say, hey, the live stream audio is too quiet. And it will end up being a problem with that person's equipment, their smart TV, just a quirk of their smartphone that they're using or something. So what is confidence monitoring? Well, when I worked at Dish, we literally had hundreds of customer boxes in racks. And every single customer box had one channel tuned up so that we could see exactly what a customer might see as that signal came back into a customer type box. And that is called confidence monitoring. It means it gives you confidence that your signal is going out. It's amazing to me how many live streams at churches, they're not confidence monitoring at all. So how do you do that? Well, it could just be as simple as you having an iPad where you watch your live stream back with a pair of headphones to make sure the sound is good, to make sure that there aren't any additional issues with it. But it's a big deal. And it's going to help you catch things like we don't have any sound, or our sound is too quiet or too loud, or we're showing a black screen right now, or something's frozen. And so that's important. Now, you don't have to watch your live stream the entire service long. But it wouldn't hurt for it to at least have the video up. Check the audio when your stream begins to make sure audio is going out and everything's okay. For me, I just check in a couple of times every service with the audio levels, make sure things are still going well. And we're streaming on 2 platforms. We're streaming on Facebook and YouTube simultaneously through Vimeo. But it doesn't really matter what you're streaming on. And for some of you, it might just be as simple as pulling out your personal cell phone and with a pair of Bluetooth headphones or something so that people don't hear you listening to your cell phone up at the sound booth. And just listening to that live stream or checking in on it several times during the service to make sure everything is okay. So that's number 1, lack of confidence monitoring. I think the second thing is lack of active management. So what do I mean by this? Well, a lot of churches, like their live stream audio, and when I say management, I'm really talking about audio for the most part. But sometimes that happens too with video. There's 2 camera shots and your video person is not paying attention, and pastor walks off the close-up shot and he's off for 2 or 3 minutes before somebody in the booth notices that he's not in the picture anymore. But mostly it happens with audio. And the reason why is that the live stream person is so focused on video that they don't really pay attention to audio. So what are some things you can do to help actively manage your audio? Well, first, I think you should have your audio for your live stream on an auxiliary mix on your audio mixer. and that lets you adjust levels individually. This also goes back to having some sort of way for you to monitor that audio live as it comes off the mixer board, and not just audio monitor it in confidence where it's coming back and it's on like a 10-second or 20-second delay, but you can make in real-time adjustments and hear what is happening as things happen. Now, the reason most people do this, of course, is that there's only one Livestream person. I'm going to say this. I think your audio is more important than your video on your church's live stream. Because people will watch more basic level of video if the audio is good. But they don't really care how amazing your video looks if your audio is terrible. In fact, they're more likely just to tune out. And active management means that somebody is actively checking levels when each part of the service happens. So as we transition from congregational singing into somebody speaking or doing announcements, and then we transition into maybe a special music piece, and then we're transitioning into the sermon part. Like, somebody needs to be actively mixing that, just like you have somebody actively mixing the live audio in the auditorium. Now, sometimes it doesn't mean there's a lot of things that need to change, and there are ways that you can set that up. So, I mean, if it's a post-fader mix, your house audio guy will mute and unmute, and a lot of things will be in a pretty good ballpark, and you only have to make little tweaks here and there. But somebody needs to actively manage that and make sure everything sounds right and works right. For me, I love using a digital mixer where the live stream person can have software or an iPad or something and control their own auxiliary mix, and then they can make decisions about what the audio sounds like. So here's number 2, lack of active management. Here's one that I get a lot. Congregation mics. Number 3, have congregation mics. And this can be as simple as you just putting a nice condenser mic up and put it on a stand kind of on the side of the auditorium and pointing it into your congregation. And that way, when they sing, and it's mostly for congregational singing or response, but when they sing, it's not just the dry sound of just your song leader or just your musicians on the platform. You're not just getting that, but you're also getting the sound of people singing in the congregation. Now, my favorite way to do this is basically to hang a couple of choir mics over the congregation and make sure that they are directional and that they're pointed away from your PA speakers so that you're picking up the least amount of speaker as possible, and make sure they're pointed down into your seating area and not just straight back so you can hear people actually singing. Now, there are some pitfalls with this. One of them is if you have them up before the service and you're a small church, I mean, you might hear Mr. Fred gossiping about Miss Brenda if he's standing under that microphone. That's not good. We don't want that on the live stream. But if you have a larger church, a lot of times I'll have my mics up full because I get, before the service, that kind of ambiance of people all talking and fellowshipping, and it all blends into a sort of background noise where you can't pick out individual conversations. So there you go. Congregation mics. It's a good thing to do. Number 4, no compression or audio leveling. Now, this can have issues all up and down the signal chain, but a lot of times I get a church will call me and they say, well, our audio just sounds crackly. That's what they normally say, crackly, which basically means it's overdriven. They're sending way too much signal in, and there's all sorts of reasons for that, and we're not going to break that all down, but it mostly has to do with wrong levels, or we're piping line level stuff into mic level inputs or whatever. But sometimes it's just that too much signal is getting into their audio capture device, and they don't have anything in place to help level that signal off. Now, if you have a digital board, you can use a compressor on the output of your aux mix to bring that level down. Or if you have some small analog boards that have built-on compressors, and you can set that knob and it'll help pull down those really hot spots so that your audio is more consistent and more level. And if you want to get really complicated, you could run a dedicated compressor on the output of your entire feed right before it goes into your audio capture device on your live stream. And that will help bring levels within a certain specification. It compresses the dynamic range. If you want to learn about compressors, I have a video on my YouTube channel, Proclaim AV. And so just go over to YouTube, search Proclaim AV, and I have a video about digital and analog compressors, so you can learn more about those. Number 5, there's a gigantic level difference between music and preaching. I see this a lot. And while this is not really a problem in your auditorium, because your human ears will just adjust down. So if your music is a little more bombastic and then you go into preaching and preaching is a little less loud, that's okay. Your brain, your body your ears will readjust to that. No issue. However, on your live stream, now pastor's way too quiet because you've set that level low so that the music doesn't clip the live stream. But now when pastor comes on, he's so quiet that it's a giant contrast, and it does actually matter. So one of the things that you can do is if you're running an auxiliary mix, you can just put more of pastor's mic into that mix so he sounds hotter in the live stream, and those levels aren't so divergent from each other, but they're much more cohesive, and your levels are just transition over nicely. So, but that's something that your live stream person is going to have to manage. And setting it up properly, again, will put it in a situation where they don't have to tinker with it all the time, but they should be aware of it and know how to adjust it. Number 6, you need to mic your piano and other things. I've had lots of questions about this one and lots of situations where it is the case. So for a lot of people, they have a big acoustic piano, sometimes a grand piano. And it's so loud in their auditorium that they never even thought about miking it because they didn't need to put it into sound reinforcement for any reason because it was so loud. But when it comes to live stream, nobody can hear the piano because they don't have the advantage of physically being in that room. So for me, there are things that I mic that only get mic'd for live stream. Example, we had a trombone quartet for a special Sunday. They were plenty loud in my auditorium, let me tell you. But my live stream audience can't hear them, and the congregation mic is not sufficient. So I actually put up a couple of microphones, not for the auditorium sound, but for the live stream sound. So you need to think about your live stream audio in more of a television production viewpoint, which is your audience is not in the room with you. And so there are things that you need to mic that you don't normally mic just because otherwise the live stream will not hear them. So, mic your piano and other things. Number 6. Anyway, I hope that's been a helpful episode, and it's just observations that I think will make your live stream audio that much better if you think about them and you engage them. Anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.